My opponent has attacked my workability claims by stating that there is an efficient way of proving illegal residency in America. But the truth is, if we follow these methods, illegal immigrants could easily create fraudulent paperwork. If we follow landlord tracking, the landlord could simply lie about the length of the tenant's residence, and thus help him or her meet one of the ridiculous conditions from the proposal. In a passage from an article by Tony Fremantle of Cron.com, to get the Social Security card he needed for his first job in America, all Francisco had to do was go to the flea market on Airline Drive and fork over $30 to a man who was selling them. In another instance, a woman worked late into the night painstakingly altering her U.S.-born child's card so she could use it as her own to search for a job. The conclusion here is that proving any form of residence would technically be inaccurate or even invalid on account that the paperwork would be fraudulent. The second workability issue that I brought up was a naturalization fee. Granted, if the fee is reasonable, then an illegal immigrant family could save up to pay for the head of the household, who in turn will petition for the naturalization of his entire family. You see, the current price to complete an I-485 form for permanent residence is $1,010, which is more money than John asks right now. However, simply stated, the fee is simply too small of a requisite. Now, my partner has tried to argue the disadvantages that I have presented. The first one being that amnesty will create incentive for more immigrants, and the second one being that granting them amnesty will only cost the government for money and benefits. Dr. Pia Arrhenius of the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta states that a fundamental problem with an amnesty is that it creates an expectation of future amnesties. Hopes of gaining legal status conditional on living or working in the United States for a certain period of time would likely encourage more undocumented immigration. With that said, one can concur that granting amnesty will only lead to a higher number of illegal immigrants. Secondly, granting amnesty will cost the government more of the taxpayers' money. According to an executive summary by CIS.org, households headed by illegal aliens imposed more than $26.3 billion in costs on the federal government in 2002 and paid only $16 billion in taxes, creating a net fiscal deficit of almost $10.4 billion, or $2,700 per illegal household. Among the largest costs are Medicaid at $2.5 billion, treatment for the uninsured at $2.2 billion, food assistance programs such as food stamps, WIC, and free school lunches at $1.9 billion, the federal prison and court systems at $1.6 billion, and federal aid to schools at $1.4 billion. In simple terms, illegal immigration costs more than they're worth. To summarize my position on the entire situation, amnesty is not an effective policy. My opponent's inherency claim stated three things. The first inherency claim is that some immigrants come to seek refuge in America. It also stated that as part of the UN Council, the United States is morally obligated to take such immigrants. My response to this is, there's other countries in the Council. Why don't they take them in? I mean, there's only so much room in one bunker. The second inherency claim is that it questions U.S. values. Well, newsflash, America doesn't really hold any family values. According to divorce.org, American divorces are approximately around 40%. And I bring this up because you argue American values. They're non-existent when it comes to immigrants as well. As for our founding fathers, they weren't even immigrants, John. There were well-established European settlements in North America before the United States was even founded. And the final inherency claim made by my opponent was that amnesty would improve the economy. But as I proved earlier, it would only make it worse. If the plan of action cannot solve the problem, then it cannot gain any of its supposed advantages. Therefore, the advantages are no longer inherent to the claim. Again, there is no need for an unworkable policy such as amnesty, but only a need to reinforce the policies we already have in place. Furthermore, I suppose I could sum this up in 7 words. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.